and then I've got the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
It's quite nice in that way. But
But yeah, I've got
so
about 7 screenshots.
have you? Well,
Yeah.
let me just look to see how many I got. I got them the other day. Um, because I was just like having a look to see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. 10. No, 11. So,
11.
I, I, I think I went a bit wild.
No, that's all right. The more the better, I guess. But yeah, so I need to get my head out of work mode. But so the purpose of the reason why, so like obviously, the reason why this I wanted to kind of talk about this topic is because obviously there's a lot of people that don't really have meaningful topics, and I feel like in life, in everything that you do, in a way, there has to be a purpose to it, especially when you come on these sort of apps and you have discussions. Because you get all types of people coming in, you
You
get
do.
people that really might need help with something or advice, and then
Hmm.
you may get people that just want to chat. But at the end of it, though, there still needs to be, regardless of what you want to talk about, I think it should be meaningful and it should be purposeful driven. Um, like for example, like there was one question I saw in there, um, and it doesn't make sense to me. But one one topic was, how does lesbian sex end? And for me, that just didn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what sort of topic is that? You know? Um, and then there was another one is speak when you hit the door. Like, what does that mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that all about? Um, I'm just finding a lot of stuff on here that
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. And it's like, well, the way that I see it is maybe I'm thinking too, I don't know, maybe I'm being over the top, but it's for me, it's like if you don't really have anything to give, then why come on here in the first place? But I don't know. But again, it's just like for me, it's like you need to have a good purpose on here. I can understand if you want to do comedian and you want to tell funny jokes, and I get that. But in my personal experience, I've always had people that have um either been depressed, they need advice, relationship advice. I've come across
Mm.
Christians and stuff, and they want to know more about the Bible and stuff like that. So I've had all those types, and
Mhm.
then I come across the weird ones. Like, for example, there was another person that had a topic called energy vampires. What on earth is that about?
Right.
Um,
People who
and
wanted to
then
sap you of your energy, maybe, I don't know.
yeah, it's a
To
bit it's just too far out there for anyone to kind of think, you know, for anyone to kind of get involved. It's kind of like a question mark, you know? Um,
I
and
mean,
then
maybe
for,
that is something that when if you went into that room, that could be a talking point within itself, I suppose. What
it
does
could,
this
but
mean? It could be a comment that you would ask. What does this topic mean? Are you trying to say that you want to, like a vampire would suck blood? Are you trying to say that you want to suck the energy from the people of Stereo?
yeah, yeah, which is yeah.
Is-
But then even so, it kind of gives a weird. It's just a bit weird. And then Thirsty Thursday, I'm like, okay, I kind of can assume what that might be about, but okay. Um, and then what the topic is, what's the MF topic? I'm like, so, okay. And then one is called Random Fight Talk. So I don't know if that's to start an argument or something,
yes,
or
I saw that one. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you saw that one? and then
Yes.
one is called Racist Americans. And when I saw that, I was thinking, well, what's the benefit of talking about racist Americans? What's the outcome? Because it's okay talking about stuff like that, but how do we fix that? You know? I guess that was an okay one for me in a way, but it just had the laugh out loud emoji at the end. So it's like, okay, is this a joke thing? But I didn't really have time to listen to all seven of them and kind of
Yeah.
like, depict what it was about. I just didn't have time. Um, but yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I just in the description, I just put, when I was setting the chat up for you, I put, did you come on here? Why did you join Stereo? Did you come on here to for laughter? Did you come on with the intention of, did you join with the intention of, debating? Did you come on just to have a moan? Did you come on for relationship advice or all of the above? Because that was just kind of based on some of the shows that I've seen over the last, sort of
Mm,
couple of weeks, really, over the
yeah,
last week, 3 weeks, month or so. I mean, let's be honest, some of what we see will have a lot to do with the algorithm as well, based upon what we have listened to in the past as well. But I got quite a good when I took some
mine
shots.
isn't
I got
actually. Mine's very different. Go ahead.
all right, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I got some quite well, yeah, actually, having said that, I got quite a mix of the screenshots I took. Um, and so the first one I saw, which I took one which sparked my interest was acid trips and Britney Spears cheeks. Now, comedy, hashtag free Britney, hashtag LSD. Well,
Right.
that quite a few people in there. That could just be people just coming in for a laugh. Wasn't really sure what that was about, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, the other one was Grand Risings Come Learn Coding with Me. And I thought, well, that's good. That's good. That's
Hmm.
really good. You know, that's a good educational experience.
Hmm.
Um, then we have Drunk Thoughts. So that's like
Drunk
I mean,
thought.
I joined this app because I live on my own, and it was just like the advert came up on Facebook, and it was just like an app where I can just sit and talk to people, and I'm a right chatterbox. Fantastic, and I
Yeah.
joined it, and that was it. Um, so, it was just like to have a chat, have a laugh with people. So I'm not surprised actually that shows come up with just drunk thoughts, to be honest, because it's just people coming on and having together a laugh, I guess, with some like-minded people. And the same with the room that I saw that just had random sh, lots of stars, and then tea at the end. Um,
Okay.
another one was make us laugh. So I guess that was like a sort of
That's all
like
right.
that
Yeah.
that was like yeah, that was like a sort of like a um inspiring people to like hone their stand-up skills, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, another good educational one I saw was Natural Men Mechanic,
Natural
and
men mechanic.
yes, and this was really good
Natural
actually. I
men
was really
mechanic.
impressed with this. It was
Okay.
two American men who were mechanics, and they were having it. There was hashtag business, hashtag men let's learn, hashtag car. And I was really impressed by these guys because they were genuinely like trying to teach people about cars and and about cars and all that kind of thing,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
and
Okay.
generally having genuinely having like a really sort of like you say, like to use the words like a purposeful conversation, meaningful conversation about
Mm.
and like educating. And then there's there's the other ones, readings, that kind of thing. with like tarot readings, that kind of thing. There's those sorts of people. That's their purpose. They've come on, isn't it? Because they do that for a quote unquote living,
Hmm.
and they've come on here to get, I guess, more money or
Yeah.
to get more of an
To be honest,
audience. Or,
I'm trying to do that myself. I actually emailed Stereo uh, yesterday because when I
all
try and
right,
get monetized, nothing happens. And apparently, there's two ways to do it. They send you an email, or someone who else is monetized has to send you a code for you to enable to get
yeah.
money as well. But I don't have any friends that are on Stereo that are in that position to send me a code. So I think there's something wrong with the app on that. So they're looking into it for me. Um, and
All
I
right.
messaged
I
them
have
like
a
three
code,
hours
but I
ago.
chose. I had a code. I have a code, but I chose not to use it because I'm not interested in being monetized.
Oh, do you?
Hmm.
Do you know if that's still valid at all? Do you know?
I don't know. I'll have to check my Instagram inbox there, Nathan.
Yeah.
So a lady I
Do you
know,
mind
I've known
sending it
for
to me?
no, no, no. If it's still there, I might have deleted the message because
Oh, I see, I see.
I'm not like the lady I know sent us it and said, "Oh yeah, I've got this code." And I'm not since the very beginning. I've not been really one who's been. I
Fair
don't want to
enough.
say I don't want to say I don't believe in monetization because I don't judge anybody who does monetization. But
Mm.
it's just not for me. It's just not something
No,
that's for
fair enough.
me.
No, I
You
mean,
know.
it's never, um, no, yeah, everyone's different, I guess. I guess it
Yeah,
would just be
yeah.
nice for me on this because I have a, I have a kind of like a, I kind of have like a network planned, right? Where,
Right.
for example, if five of us were monetized and I subscribe to you, you subscribe to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that means the money in a way is going round and round in a sense of no matter what happens, we're paying each other, but we're also charging each other, but we're not losing out at the same time. So I kind of had that in mind as well. So to keep the figure going, it's kind of weird if you can kind of picture what I'm trying to do. But
I can,
yeah,
but
it's kind of like
I'm not.
I'm not really, the thing is about me, right? I'm not great with money, but when it comes to like thinking about business and like planning things, it works. So I know it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Um, but
So
yeah,
you're
it's
trying
just
to tell me I spend a lot of money?
no, you know what? Honestly don't see myself getting a lot of money from it. I'm not one of those people that oh gonna,
Oh no.
I just see getting a little £5 here or whatever, because I do want to go
Mhm.
into the side of talking about relationships and stuff like that and giving advice. Because I just recently became a board member of a company, Knowledge and Skills for Learning in the UK and America now. So I'm a board
All
member,
right.
and it's a non-profit organization. So I'm just right now. I'm going through the applications of literally applying for it and doing the paperwork. Um, so I'm really looking forward to doing that, and then that will kind of back up what I'm doing slightly on Stereo, even though it may be on a different account because it's going to be a business account. So um, the person I'm working for is actually my auntie, so that I got into it quite easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That's my purpose, you know what I mean? Um, but the
Yeah.
way I want to set it up for is like you don't have to subscribe, you can just send me a tip or whatever. But for people that wanna about what I'm doing, like it would be cool if we were in that rotation where the money just keeps going round. No one loses out and no one, do you know what I mean? So that was just something that I was thinking about. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
so
dear, we've had a message and he's gone before we played it. So yeah, we need to keep an eye on those. But
yeah.
we'll just quickly play that. So
Mhm.
I just want to say my purpose for stereo is to say, can I get a home, yeah?
I
um,
didn't get that.
That it
Or was
just
that just meant to be
it
funny?
was just that was just meant to be funny, I think. Can I get a whole year? I think he was saying it was just it's what my 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 apartment show guys would say mush mush. It's mush
Mush,
mush.
mush. What does that mean?
Like just just rubbish. Just a rubbish nothing comment.
Oh gosh.
Like just like when people come on and just like scream and stuff like that and they just go, oh mush mush like that. Or when a child comes on, they'll just go child and mush mush like that. Because obviously
Oh, okay.
you can't have a child on here, so um they just cut it off and go mush mush. Um which is fair enough. Um you get those comments, you get those comments where people are just like being quote unquote silly. Um, but the monetization thing, I had heard that you can't get it doesn't get released to you until you've made about 100 quid. So
Really?
yeah,
But you can't
so
get money without being monetized. So yeah, so that I'm a bit baffled on that one.
somebody said that this was months ago now that they don't actually give you until you've made 100 quid. I don't know if that's true, like, or if somebody was just pulling my leg.
Nah, I think someone's putting your leg because if I wanted to send you money now, I can't do it unless
So
you was monetized. Yeah. So and I didn't see that in their requirements for monetization.
um
Mm.
the
Oh,
anyway,
maybe they meant I don't know.
I don't know. But the
Verified. No,
last
you're not
few
verified.
ones I saw anyway, there was a Stereo Family Feud, which I thought was good.
Okay.
Um, there was that, and a game and a Netflix show, which was good. Talking about obviously that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, yeah, gaming
Um,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and it was like a hashtag mental health, hashtag relaxation, hashtag health. So that's like, you know. So we'd just be really been talking, you and I, hadn't we, about how it had been quite draining. The content had been quite draining. It had been like quite negative. There was a lot of shouting going on. Ironically, as I went through to take some screenshots, there was some pretty good stuff there.
Mm.
Um, and there was a one, is it okay to tell lies? Um, but that
I saw that one. Is it okay to
yeah,
tell lies?
that, that
I mean,
quickly
that could
went
be
into
interesting.
politics. That
Politics? How
quickly
did it go
went
into
into
politics?
it was three American people, and quickly, very, very quickly, I was in
Yeah,
from the
Americans love
beginning.
politics, though, don't they?
I was in
Jeez.
from the beginning, and it went within about a few minutes. It went into politics
I mean,
immediately,
there's
but
these guys,
almost immediately.
there's these guys from London on stereo, and they would actually set a topic and not talk about it, and they would just sit there being quiet, and they'll just let people come in and just have a random talk. And I'm like, well, why have a topic? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you might as well just say open talk because it just doesn't make sense to me.
Are you
But
talking about the What's the Agenda show?
no, no, no. These are new guys. Like they're from London and they act a bit hood and they're not really great with conversations on stereo.
These
Um,
are brand new guys. In which case, they've stole the show, the idea of the What's the Agenda guys then. Because the What's the Agenda guys are currently off with personal problems,
oh really?
with personal issues. Yeah, that's why I just got a message. We got a message on the What's the Agenda page saying we're back on Monday. We're just currently experiencing some personal issues, and so I think that I'm
Yeah,
hoping they're all right because we've known one another for months now, the little What's the Agenda family, and I'm
right.
hoping that them and their families are okay. I'm hoping that nobody's caught COVID or nobody's passed away or anything like that. But they haven't been on for about 3 months now. So if these two new
Oh wow,
people from
3 months.
London are doing this, then they've stole the idea of the What's the Agenda show.
Oh wow.
Because that is essentially what the agenda is. They come in and I call them the ant and deck of stereo, because that's the kind of banter that they've got, because they've known each other since they were in primary school.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to get
So
far because they're not smart with it. So they're not even funny. They're very socially a bit weird in the sense where they don't know how to hold a conversation. So you would hear one of them on there saying, "Oh, I'm just on Facebook," or you'd hear stuff in the background. They're not really focused on stereo. They're just come in just to have company, if that makes
oh,
sense.
right, okay, I see.
Yeah.
No, this is
So
like a proper show with they have a soundboard, and and they've got like the horn from the soundboard, and this is like a proper show where they have like a manager who runs their Instagram, and it's all now
properly done,
taken
professional.
professionally done. Yeah, they're across on Spotify as well, on and Apple as well on a Friday. So so something.
I
I'm
wish I
thinking
could do that.
something.
I don't have the
Oh,
time.
I'm thinking that sadly, I'm thinking something awful's happened, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully they're just busy or
yeah,
something's come up important. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, but it's they're very well organized lads. They're always right on, right on time. And they're just
Mm,
lovely. Like I say, they've known each other since I think it's primary school, but it could be secondary
that makes
school.
sense.
It might be secondary school. So they know each other like the back of their hand. They're like
Are
they're
they from the
tight. Let's
UK
say.
or?
Yeah, they are. They're both from London. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, interesting.
Yeah, one is Max Live in Captain 2005 in Captain T. One's an entrepreneur, and the other one's ex-military. Um, so yeah, Captain T used to work as a bodyguard and work on the doors. So yeah, and Max lives in the north now. He lives in Liverpool, near Liverpool, I think, but more out in the sticks. And I think T still lives in like Surrey or something, somewhere like not in not about an hour's drive away from central London, I think. But they were both brought
Hmm,
up in South London.
nice. Okay, that's good
Yeah,
though. I like that because I mean, people like that, they have something solid going and they know each other and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Um,
And they
for
have a
some,
mutual friend who comes in.
yeah,
They've
for
got
some people on
Jamaican.
stereo, that could be hard to do. So yeah,
Yeah, they've got Jamaican. I think they've both got Jamaican parents as well. Because I have a friend who is Jamaican. He said to me, "You need to go in the room and see Wagman." And then so I did one day, and they were killing themselves laughing. And there's quite a few Jamaican people come into the show as well. So I was a little bit protective of them there, wasn't I? Saying they stole our idea. How dare
yeah.
they? I've just
There
sent
is.
them a message.
I feel like there is a competition slightly on stereo, and
Yeah,
the the issue is they're coming up with so much random topics that they're losing the the meat of it, the source, the substance of it, because anyone can come up
yeah.
with a conversation and it's almost the next best title, and they're not really talking about the subject. And I really do try. That's why I've got about 8 videos, not 8 videos, 8 audios I need to upload on my YouTube. So when I have a good YouTube discussion, I mean stereo discussion, I upload them on YouTube on my YouTube channel. Um,
All right.
so at the I mean I've started off how many weeks ago was it? So I started a month ago, 2 months ago on stereo, and I started to publish it. Blue Therapy. I don't know if you started watch. I don't know if you know of Blue Therapy, but it's on YouTube about this couple, this therapy session, right?
All
Um,
right.
so I did a discussion on that Blue Therapy. What can we take from this? So we did
Mm-hmm.
this talk on that on stereo. I think I did that with my sister, and then next one I did was talking about compromise. Uploaded that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a discussion that someone had on here is, and I put it as this is what they said, and I put it as the title on YouTube. I'm from Iran and I don't trust men, and that's what she was saying, that she doesn't trust men. And apparently in Iran, men are not faithful and all that stuff. So she was telling me some stuff about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another subject I have is why leave and cleave. So why? Because in the Bible it talks about leaving your family and cleaving to your wife. But what can we learn from that today? What is the importance of leaving home and to get married? Why can't, even though it sounds silly, but what's the importance of that? Because I could get married, right, and we could still live at our parents' house, right? What's the what's the benefit of being married and doing all that stuff? So that was pretty interesting. That was a good
Mm-hmm.
conversation. That went on for 3 hours as well. Um,
Yeah.
and then another conversation I had is single, but still with 20K followers are men to blame. And what I was doing is I was going on the angle of social media because I see a lot of women on social media. They have a lot of followers, 20K followers, but they
Mm-hmm.
still are single. What's the issue there? Why are men not, you know, classing this particular woman as wife material? As it seems, what's going on? They have so many men in their DMs, in their comment section. What is going on? Or is it
Well, that's
or is it
why.
their set of mind? Yeah. So
That's
yeah, that
why.
could be, yeah, that could be why. Probably too many choices. And then another topic is do you have mileage or full service? And again, full service history. And we'll take going on the analogy of when you have a car, you know, and to a relationship, you know, um, do you have full mileage or a full service history? And we're talking about the dating season. We're talking about does how many relationships, how many times you've been in relationships, does that count as um service history or the duration that you've kept a relationship going for? So it was really, really interesting. Again, that conversation was about an hour and 11 minutes. And then I
Mm.
spoke to a couple of Christian people and we're talking about some of the issues we have with churches. And then um, and then one topic was really, really interesting and juicy, was planning for the future. And then I put she assumed having a baby meant he would marry her. And I actually came across someone on stereo who actually
Wow.
assumed that if I have a baby with this guy, he's gonna marry me. And I had to literally tell her, no, that's not the case. Like, he's not gonna marry you just because you're gonna
No.
have a baby with him, you know? Um, so that was really
But
interesting.
but
Um,
one thing I will say about that is having a child with somebody, I believe, is a much bigger commitment than getting
it
married.
yes, it is because
Yeah.
there's a lot of investment. You have to grow that child in a way, and teach that child yeah. So I definitely agree. Um,
And also, you're tied to that person for the next 18 years at least.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
if you are, and I'm speaking across the board here, so let's just forget about all religions who maybe don't
oh
believe
yeah,
in divorce or whatever. You know,
hmm
you are tied to that person for at least 18 years because you have to
There's
bring
there's
you
stuff
have
that,
to
yeah, you need to
you
help that
have to
child
do
grow and provide and
yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah,
you have to have a co-parenting arrangement
yeah, you
at
need
the
to.
very
And
least.
sadly, some people
Yeah.
don't. But that's another story. But and then there was another discussion. where I labeled it. They low key had it in for me, but I feel I had to change my bio after this on stereo. So it's kind of like a funny one, but I uploaded it anyway. It was 18 minutes long, but I had, on stereo when you just randomly have a talk with someone, nothing's planned.
Mm.
Um, the way the conversation went, I thought, yeah, I'll just upload it because it's quite an interesting one. But they had it in for
Mm-hmm.
me in the sense of they said that the fact that I upload pictures of my wife, it makes me insecure. And I said, no, that's not the reason why, and they were single.
Mm.
I think they were almost in their 50s. Um, and I'm only in my 20s, so I kind of expected better from them in a way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, no, the reason why I do that is because I feel within our Black community and in relationships in general, people don't really want to get married. So for me, at my age, to be married, for me, I see it as a personal achievement. And and I know a few people want to get married out there, but it's hard for them to find it. But I know a lot of people that don't really have marriage at all in their minds. So for me it was just and plus my YouTube channel is like a couples channel as well, and what I put up on there, because now I want to talk about relationships and stuff like that and other stuff. So yeah, it's that, that, so that conversation was very interesting because they were really trying to put me down for some reason. And then at the end of the conversation, they just said, "Well, I'm gonna go now. Wish you the best." And I said, "Yeah, okay, thanks. You too." Um, I feel like when she said that, she was
Mm.
being very sarcastic, but um, I was really calm. I kind of feel like they wanted me to flip a bit, and they even said as well, "Oh, so how do you know you've helped people?" Or is it your own ego? And I go, no, I don't have my own ego. I wouldn't be on here if, I was lying about stuff. I genuinely like talking about these sort of stuff because I've helped a lot of people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a girl who I helped for years, um, you know, um, I'm not a counselor, but because I was always there to listen, I helped her not commit suicide. And last month she was on here talking about how she overcame not committing suicide and having people around her that helped too. And apparently it was on her mum she could talk to at the time and me. And this was years ago. Funny enough, we still haven't met, but that needs to be arranged. And we're both in the UK. But yeah, there were times where I always used to call her to make sure she was all right and etc. etc. And that
Mm-hmm.
just helped. It's so interesting how a phone call can just help somebody, And that's why I believe your purpose on stereo is so key and so important. Because if you're not mindful and you just have conversations about arguing and this and that, politics
Yeah.
and I know I'm religious and everything, but sometimes not all religious conversations are good. The only time I'd get into a religious conversation about God is if you really want to know him for yourself, and that's it. I'll leave it there because I don't want to get into this and that, because sometimes it can be too deep and it can go all types of ways. Yeah. So I like to just be open-minded. I like to help people. That's my goal and aim on Stereotype, and that's my purpose. And I think we should all really be having that and not just causing arguments on stereo and one thing I don't like hearing a lot is too much swearing. I don't like getting into conversations where your whole sentence is going to be F this, F, you know what I mean? Like I like it,
Yeah.
I like I can't even pronounce this word, intellectual. Oh, I did it. I like those conversations.
There you see, you should have more faith in yourself.
Yeah. Um, I like those conversations. Um,
I think for
yeah,
me, it's easier for me to see not what my purpose is. My pur I am not here to argue.
yeah,
I'm not here to be put down. I'm not here to be told who I am by people who don't know me.
yeah.
Um, I'm not here to be told how I should dress, what I should look like, what my interests should be.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not here to Um, right. When people are trying to get a rise out of me, rise
Yeah,
to it.
they're trying
Yeah,
to aggravate or trying to,
yeah.
I definitely know what you mean. Yeah. Um,
Like, there
mm,
was a show I went into the day after the Euro 2020 final, and there was this guy was adamant to make me angry. But it was about, and he was the show was just open talk, but he started straight away about racism. He asked, as soon as I went in and I started to speak, he asked me where I was from. And as soon as I said I was from England, he started with racism. And he was adamant
wow.
on making me angry. Adamant. Because,
Yeah, I
uh,
think people come on this show with this show. I think people come on stereo with personal issues and kind of grudges against certain people, races. I've noticed that too.
yes, yes, I've
Um,
noticed that also. Um,
and even go on.
sorry, Nathan. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and even if you I noticed that people come on here. There's people that don't really talk, but they come on with attitude as well. And then
Mm-hmm.
and then it's kind of like, well, okay, I'm gonna go because you're not really talking. And there's conversations I've had. Well, what do you want to talk about? Um, and they're not really sure, and then so I, it's a bit awkward. So I kind of just leave. So, um, but yeah, I do get the rude ones as well, and it can be um. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that need help on here, and some of it can come out in all shapes and forms on stereo.
Yeah,
That's the problem. And the issue that I'm finding is, which is kind of worrying, they're like above their 20s. So we've got really grown adults on here, kind of making themselves look like a fool a little bit. And they're in their 30s, like they're older than me, like
mm-hmm.
um and some of the people that I can actually talk to properly have been younger than me. You know,
Yes, yes.
um, and yeah, and for them it can be even more harder to have a conversation because there's not meaningful conversations. And if they are conversations, it's about politics. And because they're older, they've had that knowledge or they have that understanding about. So I don't know anything about politics. I don't even get involved in it. I just
No,
stay
me
out of it.
neither.
But when it comes to racism and I know people say you should always know your history and because I'm black and everything. But people don't like it when I say this, but I know, black people went through slavery and all that stuff. But for me personally, I feel like it doesn't help my life now because if I was to read up everything white people did to black people and this and that, and what because technically, if I go deep into it, technically I should be suing somebody because they stole all of our riches and everything like that. That's how deep it
Mm-hmm.
goes. Um, and I don't have the energy for that. I just want to, okay, it happened. I want to move on. I don't accept racism or anything like that, but I still want to treat people equally because sometimes what happens is when people um dwell on these things a lot, especially when it comes to race or politics, what happens is you start to become bitter and just narrow-minded. I know, and
Yeah,
and if we were all the same and helped people out, you know, we would be better people today. Like there was me and my wife went out somewhere to a church service in Birmingham, and my some of my old church family in London were there, and we actually needed money, like because we were really hungry, right? And we didn't ask for it, but she was like, "Oh, have a fiver." I was like, "Seriously, yeah." And it's because she knows us and she knows how kind we are and everything. Do you know what I mean? So when you know people and when you're kind to
mm-hmm.
people, sometimes without even asking, people will just be kind to you. Why? Because they know you're a good person. Like, they know, he's all right, she's all right. You know what I mean? Like, so, um, but to flip it, if I was like those bitter people on stereo, like you can't get anywhere by being horrible to people. In fact, you won't get really far. Yeah.
No, particularly I think when you are displaying the same behavior that you are complaining about. So you have to
That's
make sure
interesting.
that you have to make sure that your own house is in order before you complain about that very same thing
Mm.
in someone else outside of your own
Yeah,
home.
I've heard that saying, clean your house before you try and clean someone else. Yeah, take
Yes,
care.
yeah,
Don't, because we use that saying in church. Don't take care of your own house before you start talking about anything else. Because when people look at you, they're gonna be looking, well, is that person carrying is that person carrying that sort of standard? We've got a voice note. Let's listen to that. Hang on.
yeah.
Hi guys, just thought I'd send a quick message to, say hi.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy. Hope you've had a good day. Are you wanting to share why you decided to join Stereo and what you enjoy about it and why you
Yeah,
come
let us know,
on?
Andy, what's your purpose on stereo, why you joined, maybe just to listen or, just to get some sort of wisdom from it. Stereo is very informative, I'll tell you that. It's very good on some levels.
Yeah.
But at the moment, stereo is getting a bit toxic. Um, by the way, Diddy, right? Because when you first tried to call me,
Uh-huh.
I'm not admin anymore. So when this conversation is over, if you can email me this audio, just so I can upload it, that would be great because this discussion is quite good. So if you don't mind,
Right.
um,
Yeah,
that would
sure,
help.
sure.
Yeah, cheers.
Okay,
Um, this listens to Andy. He's got another voice note.
okay, cool.
I joined my first conversation today, which was interesting, and I ended up being on there for about 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
But I'm happy to do it via this or via joining. I don't mind.
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, no, we were just saying, what's your purpose on stereo? But yeah, it's your first time, so I hope you enjoyed it. Um, hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I'm reading your prof actually. You're a gamer, Twitch streamer. Yeah, I'm a bit of a gamer myself, a little bit. I'm mainly on the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, so probably what I mean, I don't know if you're going to be talking about games on stereo, but you could go down that route, for example. Um, so struggles to find my personal meaning in gaming life. Yeah, cool. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah, so I just find that it's really important, People have different needs and different struggles in life. And I do feel like you do need to make sure when you come on stereo, if you're over 20, have a
Mm.
purposeful conversation and don't be rude to people. Don't, you know what I mean? Like really talk some sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
because maybe it's just the way that I've grown up, but I guess I'm grateful for it because, like, there's when you go on, it's sad because people have these days, if they want to know something, the best place to go on if you want advice or at least a chance to get advice is YouTube. YouTube's very great at finding a lot of stuff about relationships, about depression, all these type of stuff. Now,
hmm
Um, Stereo's just come out, and a lot of people have the chance and opportunity to talk about anything. Now, before Stereo, though, there was Clubhouse, and Clubhouse is I think now we're going to be taking their fans because Clubhouse is very restrictive, and it's not great at all. Um, on
Yeah,
Stereo,
don't
we
you have
do
to have a code for that or something? You have
yeah,
to
you need
be
to have a
invited.
code. Yeah, you have to be invited, and if your friend if to get on Clubhouse quicker, one of your friends have to be on your contacts, and if they've already got it, they can send you a code to get in. So it's very, very hard, you know. And then when you're on Clubhouse, you have to create your own fan base in a sense of your own content creators. So, for example, I'd have to really research who I'm going to talk with, you know, and all that stuff. And it's very, very difficult. With stereo, people can just come in, you know, and you can
Right.
talk with random people, but we have to use it in the right way,
Right.
you know.
On that
Um, I,
subject, are you
I
okay
heard,
for Andy? Are you okay for Andy to come in the room? Because he's requested to come
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah, sure, sure, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sure.
sure.
Okay. Hi, Andy.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
good.
good,
How are you?
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I think just to follow up your question, I think the reason why I found stereo is um, I found myself in a position where my life has changed so much in the last 18 months, like a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
separated from my partner mid-lockdown. I had so, and I moved from being up north down south. Even so, I've been here like 14 years, but I don't really know that many people. And
Mm,
and I have my boy. So the times when I don't have my boy, um, it's I do as you saw on my thing, I Twitch stream and things like that. But you don't have that
just to keep
one-to-one
busy. Yeah.
conversation. And so, and
Mm,
I listened for a long time, and I do suffer with anxiety, and it took me quite a big. It was a big step for me to join the chat this morning, which was
mm,
it was a chat regarding the lockdown in Australia, and
yeah,
uh, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and and I loved it, absolutely loved it, and
yeah,
it doesn't. I've got to admit, I do. It does concern me getting involved with in a community and an app where the uh, it doesn't seem that busy, and to commit yourself and to try and use a tool like this for it to then potentially disappear. That's if anything, that's the one thing that concerns me, because I'd rather just get involved with something where I know it's going to be around for a while, like Twitch and things like that.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think because
yeah.
stereo, I can't. I think it was last year. Stereo came out around December. I think this is something that's going to be around for a while, a long while, because there's only two
Yeah.
apps like this at the moment, Stereo and Clubhouse. But Stereo is in the lead at the moment in terms of what it can do. Um, with Clubhouse, if you have a conversation on there, you can't even upload your content at all or anything like that. Um,
There's been a lot of investment in stereo as well, because I
they've
don't know if you
invested
know.
in a lot. Yeah, the customer service is really good. I've had problems with downloading my content on here, and I've gone on Twitter. So I have a routine. I'll go on Twitter because they're really active on Twitter, the customer service, and I message them. Because I've noticed they are a bit slow when you email, but when you start talking and requesting, look, I've sent an email, blah, 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 can you get back to me? They're really good at doing that. So they've sorted out the issue regarding that. Um,
Mhm.
Trying to sort out this monetization thing to see if I can get it. But stereo is very good. Um, in terms of that, I'm mindful of the people that are coming on here that are slightly spoiling it for others, because I've been on here since since December last year, and I suffer
Mhm.
from anxiety sometimes as well, but it depends in certain situations. And I remember coming on here and I was like, I feel nervous just to join a live chat. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
I was like it was so it was so hard. I was nervous
Same,
Yeah,
just to
man.
press, yeah, like it was so
Yeah.
hard just to press start talk and talk to a random person. And then I thought, no, I can do this. And then I thought, okay, let me just I got my friend on it first. She's from London. And then we started talking on it. And then we ended up having 4 to 3 hour conversations on here. And it was just long. It was long. I was talking on stereo more than I was watching TV. I realized, right, I
Yeah.
need a balance. Um, you know, but on the good side though, it helps to build up your communication if you need that. For me, it's kind of improved a bit because of stereo. So if I do speak to a random person, I think I'll be all right. You know what I mean? So I'm not used to talking to random people. Um, so it's very interesting. But yeah, I think stereo is going to be around for a while. But the reason why we're talking about your purpose on stereo is because we've realized that some people are not having purposeful conversations. Um, and sometimes it can be damaging depending who is hosting it, or
Yeah,
hosting a
Yeah,
certain conversation.
there is a mix. I
yeah.
was going to say about the investment is that the person, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the dating site Badoo, the guy who owned Badoo sold Badoo and created Stereo.
Badoo.
So, yeah. So,
So the guy who owned Badoo created stereo.
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Hang on a
So,
I
second.
came.
Wow.
Yeah.
so yeah, if you Google it, it's going to be confirmed what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's been, in fact, I would
So hang on. So
imagine.
so so the guy who used to own Badoo doesn't own it anymore. Sorry, is that what you're saying?
From what I could gather, yeah, from when I was told this myself and I Googled it, yeah, he is the person who created stereo, but it's still in its infancy
Well, to
because
be
uh,
honest, it was a
uh,
great move because to be honest, Badoo's not even that great. I remember this. I've never
no,
used it, but I'm really good at looking at
I,
apps
I
and like,
have, I
yeah,
have, and I agree, it's not great. But what
yeah.
another thing I will say about stereo is that yeah, there is people. So my own experience when I came on, yeah, I could never do the roulette, it was called. I always just listened in at first, and then I didn't
Mm.
sort of join any shows at
I
all.
did do that for a
Um,
while. I was sending a lot of voice notes and stuff. Yeah, I was
yes,
doing that
I
for
was
a
doing
while,
that, and
and then
I
I've and then
found,
uh-huh.
that there is some conversations that are incredibly toxic. Um, and there is some and I was targeted actually by base there is people out there who will read your bios and will target you based upon your
Yeah,
bio
about that. Yeah, about that. I didn't.
and will
That was a thing. That's why I want to change my bio, like I said, right? Because people now, when they talk to you, when you talk to a random person, before they even say anything, they read your bio, regardless, re re depending what your bio
some
says,
people
they just skip
some
you.
people
Yes, yeah,
yeah
some people,
but
yeah, some people just
some
skip you,
people
and
will
it's like,
come on and to trigger you against when I had agnostic on my bio, religious people were coming in, for example, and trying to trigger me and try and questioning me a lot about why I
yeah,
was
and again,
agnostic and
yeah,
why I
and
should
again,
telling me why I should be religious and all that sort of thing. However, what I've also come across, and I say this for I'm saying all this because I don't want Andy to be put off this because it
mm,
is a real mixed bag. And this has been my experience. What I've
mm,
also come across is some shows that have been long running shows and people who have been in long running communities who have become almost like family and
Right.
who have known each other. I'm in an appointment show. I have an appointment show where we know each other well, and we've even said we would meet up in a mutual in a sort of neutral city, at some point.
wow, okay,
And it's and also there's people who have helped people who've been in traumatic situations. These people have never met one another face to face, and they've helped people who've been in traumatic situations and dialed the emergency services
mm,
All right.
to, to try and help these people. And there's been people. And there was a lady who was in a I don't want to say too much, but there was a lady who was in a traumatic situation, and there was people just gathering round her, just support,
yeah, you've
you
got some good
know.
people on here.
You have,
And sadly,
and
the good people are not really noticed that much sometimes on stereo.
yeah, because
Um,
it is the people who are shouting all of the time and swearing at like every other word
yeah,
and quoting directly swearing at you as well.
yeah,
And and it's and like I said, who are having a go at people, but who are exactly the same that type of person themselves. So,
mm,
you have to. I think you have to, be aware of. For example, the other day, a lady was talking about dating. I think I told you about this, Nathan.
mm,
Um, a lady was talking about dating, and she was talking, Andy, about a guy who she went out and had, and she saw this man, and he looked very attractive, and he came over to talk to her, and he said, "Oh, you're speaking to he man. Look at me, I look amazing." And she said
right.
he instantly was unattractive to me, and I agree with her. You know,
Hmm.
I'm sure you guys agree that a woman can look attractive, and then she can open her mouth and she can
Oh yeah,
be,
yeah, for
be
sure.
Yeah.
unattractive.
Uh-huh.
And but then this laced into this lady's comments was mother effer, the N word, the F
Jeez,
bomb was dropped, SHIT was dropped throughout the story that she was telling. And I was listening
sounds like
to her, and
everything dropped.
I looked at her Instagram, and she was absolutely beautiful, very pretty lady. And so I left a voice note, not being aggressive, just talking how I am now. And I said, I've just looked at your Instagram, you're an incredibly pretty lady. And what I think you need to do is listen to how you're talking, because
Hmm.
don't you think that people may think the exact same thing as
Yeah,
what you're
there
complaining
was
about this man? So,
talking about talking about looking a certain way and what comes out your mouth. There was this guy, and he dressed smart. He looked respectable. So I automatically thought what was the words that was going to come out his mouth were, substantial and cool. So when he was talking, he was now he's a lot of guys now that like to talk about relationships and dating, especially these guys in the black community. Um, they talk about this guy called Kevin Samuels. I've mentioned him loads of times. And he was on stereo trying to copy Kevin Samuels' tactics. So he would tell women, um, how old are you? What's your dress size? How tall are you? And there is something out there called your sexual marketplace value. And if you look it up on Google, it's very interesting. And
oh dear.
it's a chart of what men look for in a potential marriage. So kids equate to it depend how many kids you are. Certain men kind of think, is it worth getting into a relationship if she's got this amount of kids? Because obviously, do you know what I mean? So it's very
Hmm.
interesting. But what he was doing though was putting her down, saying, look, because you're overweight, you're gonna find it hard to find a guy that's going to be with you because you weigh more than a man. Women shouldn't be weighing more than men. And he was given certain figures of women in America and what the average weight of a woman should be. It was very interesting anyway, because stats are involved and that's what he was doing. But the way he was doing it was very bashful instead of encouraging. The encouraging side is what I
Hmm.
like to go down. I don't like to say, look, it's okay to state facts, but it's how you talk, how you come across. It really
Hmm.
matters because 10 times out of 10, when you're off stereo, you're going to treat someone else the same way. And I did actually leave him a message and I said, look, how you come across is so important. You, because he was kind of confused why the ladies were getting offended, and I told him why, and he didn't understand. He goes, I shouldn't need to change the way I talk." And I said, "Well,
Yeah.
bro, sometimes you do. If you want to get to a certain audience and you want them to really understand what you're saying and really feel what you're saying, you have to change your tone. And people often say, oh, I don't like to adapt. I shouldn't have to change for anybody. But if you're in that field or trying to get people to be their best selves and encourage them about stuff, you need to talk to people on their level. What do you do with a 4-year-old child? You bend down, you talk to them at their level, so you're at their height, and you tell them why what they did is wrong. Yeah. If you shout
Yeah.
at a child, all they're going to do is cry. They're not going to understand. All they understand is, Daddy or Mummy, you're shouting at me. Why? I don't like it. Do you know what I mean? And as we grow up, I know it's kind of not the same, but we don't always reciprocate what people are trying to say or the true meaning of it, because they're coming at a different angle, which we can't really take to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, could I
Yeah.
just going back to the stereo thing?
Yeah.
What's your views on chats? Because there seems to be so many chats where it just says open chat. So there's no
Yeah.
you find yourself clicking on them, and then one of the things that I find frustrating is, and maybe I'm using the app wrong, so it'd be interesting if you could tell me if I am, and that
Mm.
is you click on a chat, and then you can swipe left or right, but it only gives you a certain number of options. So then I have to, if you've already seen those options, you have to go back to the list, then click see all, and then scroll all the way down to where you were before. So then you can continue down the list.
So that list is showing you the live chats that are happening at the time.
Yeah.
That's the ones you're seeing, right? So when you're doing that, at the top of this chat at the moment, it says end talk, right? Instead, you're going to see start talk. Now, Stereo's kind of changed. So when you press start talk now, it gives you options of who you want to talk to, what group you want to join, which is a bit silly because before it just matched you with a random person.
Right.
Yeah. So if you do see a chat that says open talk, it just means that they started a chat together and just didn't bother changing the title. They just left it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
I
they
set
should
this
really
type.
change it, because if they're having a good
Yeah.
conversation, anyone is going to just swipe past open talk. And it can be annoying because it's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I know it's open talk, but
And I think sorry, just following on from that, it's the open talk in a roundabout kind of way is not a major issue. But when you mentioned that there are methods of communicating, or whether you call it toxic or things like that, it's you find yourself going into quite a lot of chats till you find one that you're actually wanting to listen to. And I think
yeah, yeah.
I just think anything that's got the generic open chat should have its own section.
Is that
And
is that the hashtag you're talking about? So is there actually a
Yeah.
title and then it says open talk, or does it actually say just open talk?
I'm just going into that now, so just bear with me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the first four or five on my list have got names, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 chats there that are 5 that are all just open talk,
Oh
and
wow.
there's got 6, 7, 8,
Damn.
and so it's just a little frustrating when it comes to actually wanting to find something
A
that you're.
suitable discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do want to have discussion. I'm all up for talking shit and banter and all that kind of stuff, but that sometimes I just want to have a talk. And your title was perfect and was also the kind of thing that I was interested in chatting about. So I went into it,
Mm.
and surely
Yeah.
that's to the benefit of the chat.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just play this message to say
Yeah.
we've got a
Sorry.
message? We'll just play this message and then we'll go back. We'll carry on.
The owners of Purdue, a Russian guy, he sold it for 1.5 billion. And then him and his friend were quite bored because, how do you spend 1.5 billion? So after all the partying, the holidays, the houses, sex, drugs and rock and roll, they decided to set up stereo. I don't think it's such a big deal for them. It's not a huge app. There's not many people here. I think on the App Store, like 40,000 people have downloaded it, but I'd only say a couple of hundred of them are here all of the time. You always see the same faces. It's not going to get big anytime soon, but it's a good app. You know, you get idiots everywhere in life, so you're going to get them here as well. That's just how it goes. And hi, Diane, and everyone.
I wrestle. Known I wrestle for months now on end, but yeah, from the gender show, the appointment show that we both know, but
Okay.
yeah, the open talk thing. I think sometimes it's just people, Andy, who are just like you say, who are just there for maybe a bit of banter and don't really know what they want to talk about. They're just for to have a bit of a chat. It's sometimes people who know each other well and are just, we're just here to chat, and we're just here to catch up, and
Yeah.
we're 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 we don't
Yeah,
we're not going to set a topic.
maybe I'm just
Um,
being too critical. I don't know.
No, I mean,
um,
I definitely agree. You're not being too critical at all.
no,
Um,
no, no,
no,
I
you're
don't.
not.
I definitely do agree. Because I was going to say equally, it is sometimes used, I think, as a free for all for arguments, basically.
Mm,
So I think you're doing the right thing by going through and selecting which chats that you are interested in listening to, because
yeah.
that is probably something that I wish I'd done sooner
Yeah, because
rather
when
than
when I first started, I only listened to a certain group, and in my mind, I was like, the discussions are good, but I hope they get better because they did a lot of cussing each other at the same time. But apparently, these two people knew each other in real life, and it was just really confusing. Um, and then when I started listening to this kind of these people talking, I started to feel a bit down myself, you know, because they were so negative, and I was like, damn, like really? Um, and then I found out that one of the guys, he's married, and he's got a personal reason why he can't work. So for he was on stereo every day for about 12 hours straight. 12 hours, no sleep, nothing. He had breaks and whatnot, but he was always on stereo.
mm,
And that's the reason why he was getting cranky as well and really moody and stuff like that. I said, bro, man, you need a balance. You've got a wife. Like you can't be on the stereo all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like you need to have a balance. And if you're not careful, the vibe and energy that you give on stereo is going to go back to the public, to the viewers, you know. And that's why I did a stereo. I did even done another subject on stereo about should I be responsible for you? Should I care about you? Because on stereo, like you need to be mindful of the people that come along and what they're coming along to listen to and how they may feel, you know, because stereo for me is not just an app where you can just talk sometimes randomly to people. Sometimes people just want to actually talk about something or learn something, or do you know what I mean? If you're going to
Mm.
do that, you might as well get people's personal numbers and call them up. I feel like stereo has the potential to be something a bit more different and better. Um,
I mean, we had the discussion that I was in earlier, for which is regarding the new lockdown in Australia.
mm,
That was it was such an interesting conversation, and everyone was being really respectful, even if the statement, because I said something where it seemed like I was being critical of the person that I was listening to a chat a few days ago, and I referred to it in the discussion earlier, and I felt afterwards to say that Look, I'm not saying anything critical about the person. Just wanting to discuss the logic behind what they said, and their immediate response was, "Don't worry about it. We understand that. We know there's no maliciousness here. We're all here to debate the subject." And that was really refreshing to see that you could speak quite openly with people automatically assuming that it's coming from a good place and not from a negative place.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. It's kind of rare sometimes to have people that know how to communicate properly, and to channel that energy quite good. So that's brilliant. We've got another voice note. Let's listen to Ali. Oops.
Yeah, I think you're right. Not only with that, just I feel like balance is everything with every aspect of life. You know, even when you're in a relationship, I know it's kind of off topic, but you have to balance who you are as an individual versus, you know, being with your significant. Their balance is everything, right? So I personally go on stereo because I live in a town where all of my friends have moved away from. So it's just nice to connect with other people. And, you know, on the days where I'm not feeling that great and I get to hear all of these different personalities. But if I'm doing it too much where I'm neglecting my animals, my priorities, my, you know, responsibilities, everything like that, then I have to find that balance as well and log off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Ali, I agree with you because all of my friends pretty much live in different cities and one in a different country. My best friend lives in a different country. So, you know, I mean, I've got a friend who's a friend and neighbor, but I don't see her all of the time. So I can completely relate to you there in that I use stereo because I live on my own, I'm single, you know, so you know, when I'm not doing other things, you know, like running my home and I work from home. So a lot of my life centers around home. So there's times when I really do need to just hear some voices and some other personalities, you know, because, you know, I'm going through some therapy at the moment for bereavement counseling as well. So there's
Right.
and that goes over on the telephone at home. So
Yeah,
so
I remember coming across a guy, and
yeah.
I actually said to him, "Oh, so what do you think about stereo?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's really good," because he was saying that he's going through he's finding himself being very depressed at the moment. So stereo helps him out a lot because he just has a lot of random people to talk to. I think probably that's why I got stereo actually because of COVID and I was always at home and working from home, you know, and I was actually struggling with YouTube content. I was like, hang on a second, if I kind of gets into stereo, maybe, you know, that could replace my content at the moment because I can't go out and about too much. You know what I mean? And I did love
Yeah.
and still love talking to random people at the moment, you know. Um, Andy's the next new person I'm speaking to. So, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great, you know, talking to
It can be a distraction as well
it
yeah,
can be.
It
yeah,
It
and
can be,
can. It
and that's why
can.
what Ali said, which is important. You need a balance, you know.
You
Like for
definitely
example,
do.
this week I really wanted to talk to you, Diddy, about this topic, and I had another schedule yesterday, and um, the schedule didn't work out because when you set a schedule on this app, it rings everybody all at once, and it didn't work
mm,
out. He didn't pick up, and it was like, "Oh, sorry, man, I'm busy." I was like, all right. You know, when you set your time as well, and you tell your wife, you know, I'm going to be busy around this time, then you're not busy, and then you have to, and then you're like, oh, okay, you know, but yeah, you need a balance. And tomorrow, I wish I could be on stereo, but I'm going out for a really fancy meal tomorrow, like a couple's date thing, double date, and all that stuff. So I'm doing that. So I really am trying to have a balance because too much of one thing is not good. Too much of one thing is that I have to make time for my wife, family, now stereo. I like video games, working out. I've got a lot already thinking about, and soon I'm gonna have 2 jobs. So it's like I like to do all these stuff, but I like what she's saying. You need a balance because too much of one thing, it can be a distraction. And again, it's not a good way to have a balance. So yeah.
No, and I have also, I mean, I have epilepsy and lack of sleep causes my seizures, and you have to make sure that you don't neglect your health as well,
Hmm.
to do with stereo because I have absence seizures, I mean, absence seizures where you just sort of zone out,
Oh right.
and
Okay.
I also have something called tonic-clonic seizures, and they're the seizures that most people know, the falling down, the unconscious, the jerking.
All right.
Uh, and I've had it most of my life. I'm used to it, but I've been
Sorry
on.
to hear that. Yeah.
No, that's okay. It's part of me. It's like my red hair and my green eyes. It's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's part of me. And my freckles. It's my family and my friends who worry about it more than I do. Everybody's like, "Oh, you
Uh,
shouldn't be doing this. You'll have a seizure." And I'm like, "Oh, chill out." But
uh,
but when I've had it 34 years,
yeah.
it's just whatever. But so and that is why I have neglected from taking my tablets at a reasonable hour while I've been talking on stereo, and then I've had clusters of absence seizures whilst I've been talking to somebody on stereo.
Jeez.
And
Oh wow. Okay.
and they last between um 10 seconds and about a minute. So I've just been sort of gone, oh, what was I saying again? And I'm really good at disguising them now. But I made sure that I took my meds before this show started because I knew for a fact that this was going to be like a good topic. And we said, didn't we, Nathan, will be like an hour or an hour and a half or something like that. But the chances are
Yeah.
it may go on a bit
I
longer.
see it of it. Yeah. I'm trying to
And
I'm trying to cut it down because I know you got work and I got a date to go on tomorrow.
but 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 um but also I knew the chances are that it may go on, and so I made sure I took my meds because
Yeah.
I know that could happen, and neglecting your health for being on stereo is not a good plan. I can promise you, right?
Yeah. So
So
we've got three
there's another
bubbles.
tip for you, Andy.
Hmm. Do you want to play the third
Yeah,
well, all the bubbles?
yeah,
Play the
sure.
top to last.
This for the woman. If you was a 50-foot giant woman, would you jump in the air and fall on everybody and smush them?
Mush, mush.
Mush mush. Because it was a mush mush, wasn't it?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maybe what you can do is set an alarm for yourself to take your tablets so that even if you do get caught up in stereo and everything like that, an alarm will go off to remind you.
Yeah, yeah. I
Have you
did
tried that?
actually do that. I did actually do that, Ali, and I pressed dismiss in the middle of the call.
Oh God.
So, yeah, that very, very irresponsible I was that day.
I think that would be part of
Good
up
luck
to.
on your date.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
I've got
think
my
that would be
outfit
part
ready
of
and everything.
a
Sorry,
good
Andy.
conversation. Sorry, I think that would be part of a good conversation to have. I might set it up, and I might invite you guys as well.
What's that?
My first one, just around um, creating that routine. I struggle with a routine. I'm on anxiety medication, and I'm terrible for forgetting to take them. And it'd just be interesting to discuss and open it up for discussion around tips and how different people manage their routines, particularly when it comes to taking care of themselves and medication and all that kind of thing.
I would be up for that, Andy, because it was actually
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I had to have electronic I had to have an EEG telemetry, but I was in a room for 5 days with cameras in my head and CCTV on me, and they from that data they found out that I have epileptic activity on my brain every day around about 10:30 at night,
Right.
regardless of whether I have a seizure or not. So
Right.
to counteract that, my consultant said to me, I want you to take your meds at 9:30. And so then 9:30's fairly early, isn't it? So to be talking on stereo, especially, it's a normal time to be talking on stereo. So press and dismiss at 9:30 is would be pretty standard, really.
Yeah.
Could be pretty standard, and that's why those absence seizures happened. So I would be really up for like talking about,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
Because I think a lot of us are um, guilty of hitting the snooze button on things that are more important than others, just to do something that's not as important. And yeah,
Wow,
I think
that's
that's
deep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Without a doubt, yeah, without a doubt. I've got several stories
Mm.
along those lines. So yeah, I would be interested in doing a show with you about that, if you would like to.
okay. Cool. Well, I'm going to drop off now. Thanks a lot,
Okay.
guys.
Okay.
I've really enjoyed it, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Okay,
Thanks for
thank you,
joining.
Andy.
Nice
It's
talking to you.
lovely to meet you, and I'll be
You
in
too.
touch about that show, unless you want to set it up.
I'll have a go, and then I'll message you if need be.
Okay then,
All right. Thanks a
no
lot, guys.
All
problem.
Take
right.
care.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Take care of yourself.
He's
Uh,
cool.
He's cool, yeah. I'll play this
We,
message.
yeah, you can play that one.
Remember,
Hmm?
Stereo always does that.
remember seeing this actually on either Vine or TikTok. I don't actually remember. So I take antidepressants, but when I started struggling to remember when to, I would give my dog a treat at the exact same time I'd take an antidepressant. So in case I'd forgot, my dog is a Springer Spaniel, English Springer Spaniel, so he ain't gonna forget when it's treat time. So sometimes I just will be sitting there and I'll just get punched in the face by a paw and it's like, bitch, give me treat now.
That's an excellent tactic. That's an excellent tactic.
It's
Unfortunately,
interesting.
I have a cat, so yeah. Although he does know when his breakfast time is, he's quite nonchalant. But he's just getting on in age now. But no, I don't think there's despite popular belief, I don't think there's demand in his dogs for food treats. But yeah. So that was, yeah, but he was a cool guy there, Andy, wasn't he? So
Yeah,
that was nice. That was nice. Do you
yeah.
want to
He's nice.
I put in no judgment, but we did do a bit of judgment. But what I meant by no judgment is no judgment to people coming in and saying, if people were coming in and saying, right, I'm religious, or people were coming in and saying, you know, I come on here to argue, or people were coming in and saying I come on here to, you know, just get drunk and get high and talk,
Oh
then
boy.
that's what I meant by no judgment. Because I do have, I can think of a few people who openly admit that they only come on here when they're high. And
Really?
yes, yes. And
Okay.
that's worrying for me. I mean, I wouldn't. It's worrying for me because I'm worried about them. I'm not in their health and and not because I'm worried about the kind of person that's on stereo, but
I'm worried about the
you know,
public.
like like it's you just wonder, what's going on in this person's life. Why are they an addict? Why are they, it sets the cogs turning in my head, like why do they feel like they can only come on stereo when they're high and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always, but I've been accused of being an overthinker many times in my life, uh, Nathan. So, well, just by a couple of the same two people actually, but many times over again, over and over again. By my best friend who lives in Jersey
Hmm.
and an ex-boyfriend of mine. But I always say I'm not an overthinker, I'm a deep thinker. But
Interesting.
yeah, it's I just or maybe a worrier. Worry about people too much. But
Sometimes it's a good thing.
or me or people, maybe it's a confidence thing for people. There's some people who come on when I saw that said that screenshot when it's like drunken chat, and
Mm.
there's maybe some people who come on who only when they're drunk. Maybe it's a confidence thing, because it's like similar to a thing, I think, when some people say, oh, what's the point in going out if you're not going to have a drink? And I haven't had a drink for 4 years, come 5th of November.
Hmm.
And people
I'm not
have
really a
said to
drinker, to be fair. I'm not even a drinker like that. I think
me,
I know I'll be having a few
no,
drinks tomorrow, but I'm not the type to get drunk or anything. It's just, yeah.
no. And I just think, like, but people have said to me in the past, what's the point in going out? And I said, I don't need a drink to have fun, but, and that's not me being judgmental. It's just, towards anybody who wants to have a drink or get drunk. It's just, you know, open your mind
Yeah,
kind of thing. You don't
I
need
think
to
for British
have
people,
that.
I feel like we need to drink to have fun. I don't know how it is in the USA, but over here it's like it's a must. You need to have
Mm,
and I think that's where as well we start to develop poor communication skills and actually talk without having a drink, or having fun.
mm,
Um, sometimes I miss just laughing when someone just said a really good joke, and me, you're just cracking up laughing, and
yeah,
I miss
yeah.
those sort of stuff. Um,
Maybe
yeah,
that's what stereo was. Maybe for some people it was an extension of the pub when the pubs were shut. You know, it was,
true,
it was, it was like
could have been.
a massive digital pub, if you like. Maybe that's some people's stereo purpose. I don't know. That could be, and that's fine. That's fine if that is some people's stereo purpose because people miss going to the pub, so they've come on here and had a drink and had a chat with a load of random people. And that's fine. And that's what I meant by no judgment. It's just interesting
Mm,
to hear the reasons, because the different reasons why people come on stereo, because I have come across in the my early days of, I came across a lot of religious chats, and I came across a gentleman who was basically trying to convert me into becoming a Christian, and was very sort of forceful in his opinions, and like I said, and it was a bit well, it wasn't a bit, it was very scary actually. Um,
oh, sorry about that.
oh,
So
that's all
I'm
right.
a Christian. I'm not like I don't like those stuff because I mean we believe that we should let God do the converting, if anything.
Mhm.
So yeah, apologies about that.
Oh, you don't have to apologize for him. It's yeah, it was sorted out, and sorted out well by Stereo. They handled it very well. So yeah, that was all good. But so it's interesting just for is there some people who come on specifically to talk about that? I know that there's a guy whose username has atheist in it, and he does just come on to talk about being an atheist, I believe. I think he's called Ordinary Atheist, and he just comes out on to talk about being an
I think
atheist.
I think I've heard of that guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a long distance lorry driver in America. I think we were supposed to have a chat once, but he didn't make it because it was some sort of time difference issue, I think. But anyway, so there is, and there's people who have Jesus saves and all of that sort of thing as their username. So and that's fair enough. And it's just interesting to see actual specific things that people are coming on, and that is all they will ever talk about. And that it's almost like a sort of marketing procedure.
Oh yeah, a lot of people
If
do it.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, yeah, it does. Interesting you said that because it does seem the way how people are doing things at the moment. It's a very good observation, actually.
And was and people are on here to promote the music as well, which is fair dues, again.
Yeah, again,
Um,
I mean that's people with a purpose, which is great. They're on here, they have
a
a
lot of
mission.
talent, a lot of
Yeah,
talent.
yeah.
It's a guy called Jazza London who's a really talented rapper. He's on here. He's had he's
I
released
don't know any
he,
rappers actually. I don't.
he's
Okay.
released he's released a couple of singles, a couple of EPs. So yeah, he's really good. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
KSI's on here, but
No.
yeah, but I think he's been
Actually,
paid.
actually, I
I think he's been
he,
paid to be on here because all the YouTubers came across, didn't they?
I didn't even know
They,
YouTubers were on. Well, actually, I'm a YouTuber, but I'm not a big one. But
yeah,
no, I
KSI's
didn't.
on here.
Actually, I'm
Um,
kind of not surprised because he probably be on here doing pranks and stuff or something like that. Because this is a good platform for YouTubers anyway, in general. If I'm
no,
honest,
he's actually doing dating advice. If I'm honest,
is
He-
KSI is he the one that's with the white girl, white lady?
I don't know if he's with a white girl, but one a really funny guy on here called. Do you know
KSI,
Ben the Rules?
because KSI, I know his
Yeah.
brother. No, his brother's with the white lady. Yeah, okay.
Well,
KSI is the funny
KSI,
brother. He's more funny. He's more funnier. Yeah, I know him.
handsome guy, but let's be honest, he's like horse crap, isn't he? He's everywhere.
Oh, we got Andy back. Another voice note. Hang on, let's play it. If it's gonna play.
I actually found out about this app from watching At Home with the Buckleys on YouTube. That's James
Oh,
Buckley
right.
from The
hmm
In-Betweeners. He's a Twitch
Yeah,
streamer as well. And they started doing some podcasts on here. So, yeah, a lot of big people
yeah,
actually come across.
yeah. I knew him and his wife were on here. Yeah. So there's like him and KSI and Phil and Dan as well, who I believe are big YouTubers. I think that's what they're called. They get like 5,000 and odd listeners when their shows come in. Um, there's a guy as well. I can't remember his name. Who's roast somebody. He
Roast.
gets he gets thousands of followers as well. When he comes on. I can't remember his name for the life of it. That goes to show how much I watch YouTube influencers. The only YouTube influencer I watch is Lad Baby.
I've never heard of them.
You never heard of Lad Baby?
Lad
They were
Baby, no.
they were Christmas #1 for the last 3 years running.
Probably because I don't watch a lot of YouTubers, to be fair. I mean, I only have like a couple.
Um,
I can, yeah.
they're a
Um,
couple, yeah. Him and his wife. It started out because he was 29, I believe. Yeah. Hang on, yeah, 29. And his wife became pregnant with their first child. And he was like,
mhm,
right, I'm a lad and I'm having a baby and I'm scared. And he said, right, I'm just gonna make a video about the fact that, oh my God, I'm scared. Right?
mm,
And started with about 100 followers. And so it was like him, Lad Baby, and then he got offered like other things, and his wife got offered, like contracts for other things. And I think when I Googled them a couple of months back, they've got a combined net worth of about £2.2 million now.
mm.
Um, But yeah, I looked them up. But they did Christmas #1 for the last 3 years because he's obsessed with sausage rolls. But they do a lot of charity work for the Trussell Trust, which is
Okay.
food banks, and
Mhm,
all of 100% of the profits for the Christmas #1s went to the Trussell Trust. So they didn't make any money whatsoever from the Christmas #1s. Yeah, but
interesting. Okay.
they were all about sausage rolls, the Christmas #1s.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're funny though. They're a funny couple. Yeah, but they've just had COVID actually, the pair of them. But it's they're the only people I watch.
Okay.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
just play out another message from Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lad Baby does a lot of funny things, and I think years ago, he's I'd say tight with his money compared to his wife, if you want to call it that. So he wanted a swimming pool, so he got a friend who had a skip, and he put that on the driveway and put some covering over it, some pool covering, and filled it up. And when his
Yeah,
wife came home, he was just sat in there.
yeah, that's right. And
Sounds funny.
recently, he made because he used to be a graphic designer, so he's quite creative, and he left that job to do YouTube full time. And he he converted the trampoline into an outdoor pool as well. Just about a month ago. Um, and he put some tarpaulin on the inside, and then put some shrink wrap on the outside to sort of seal all the tarpaulin in, and created like a massive outdoor pool while his wife and the kids were at the shops. So yeah, they are very funny. Yeah, but yeah,
Hmm.
they have their mishaps as well. But
Are they UK based or
UK
Am-
based, yeah. She's
okay.
from London. He's from Nottingham. They met when he was a graphic designer in London. Yeah.
I need to watch more. First, well, me and my what is that? I think I watched it for fashion purposes. But Patricia, is it Patricia Bright? In London, Patricia Bright. I think that's her name, Patricia Bright. Can't remember now. I think that's the name. Um, but yeah, I need to watch more. I only watched like KSI's brother. I can't remember his name now, because him and his girlfriend do a YouTube channel. I think they live in
Yeah.
Birmingham. I think. Um,
Don't know that one.
yeah, KSI's brother is more of a I can't really describe their content anymore because his brother does a lot of gaming streaming stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and his girlfriend does it as well. But it's a bit weird, them two. They're a good couple, but they're a bit weird in a good way. Um, yeah, their content, I can't really say what their content is. It's all over the place, but somehow it works. Put it that way.
Those lad babies are hilarious. She is obsessed with TikTok challenges. She's crazy competitive. She just loves dancing badly, singing, just flinging herself around the house. But she's got her own clothing line now. And he just generally is just a funny guy. He just gets him to. He does a load of hacks, as Andy mentioned. He does a lot of parent hacks. How to do things on the cheap. She
Cheap
wanted him
way, yeah.
another one he did in the early days. She wanted him to buy baby gate for the kitchen, and instead of buying a baby gate, he sawed the kitchen door in half.
Oh
So
gosh.
when she came home from her mum's, the kitchen door had been sawn in half, and yeah, she puts up with a lot. For those Valentine's Day ones, she wrapped his car in pictures of love hearts with her face, and it had "honk if you love my wife"
Oh, I've seen
um
people do
written,
that.
written on the back. Yeah. So they prank each other all the time as well. So there's that as well. Yeah. She dyed his hair pink once. She's put face tan in his facial wash. All sorts. Yeah. I've got two boys. I've got now. So they're the only one I watch. But I'm in my 40s, Nathan, so I'm not au fait with all this. With I'm old school. I'm still books. So
Oh, that's all right. It's not a problem.
yeah, I still like my books. There's
I can't get into
tangible
that.
books. These tangible books that you can put in your hand. Although on Tuesday I'll be listening to a load of audio books because I'm going for a full back tattoo on Tuesday. So
Oh, okay.
so I'm in the studio from 10 till 6. So full day session.
Okay,
So
enjoy that.
what was that? What was that thing called? Did you say? Yeah, check your
What?
what? Your sexual
Oh,
um
your sexual marketplace value. So
sexual
it's
marketplace value. Mine will be
yeah,
low.
it's very interesting. So yeah, he's used it mainly on women to kind of say, look, this is what men look for. There's a chart up for women
Yeah,
as well, what women look for, and how yeah. So he's saying, like, if I was obese, for example, like really obese, and and I'm my age now, you know, Kevin would probably say, okay, what you really have to lose at the moment is the weight, you know. Um, and but because he's an image consultant, he's not like a counselor or anything. So
right.
he's an image consultant. So there's only so far that he can kind of go with you, which is
I'm
very
just gonna
interesting.
do it for the bands because I've been told my whole life you're too tall.
To be honest, he doesn't. Oh, that's very interesting because he's never talked on height before. So that might be something that he might say. I mean, because height is something that you can't fix in the sense of, do you know what I mean? Like that's not really
Yeah,
height is not really a problem, um, too much.
men
I mean,
feeling emasculated. That's a big thing. Oh, stereo is frozen.
is it?
I'm frozen. Your
Uh,
face
some
is frozen.
sometimes it does that.
Yeah. We can hear
Sometimes it
each
does
other.
that.
We can hear each other, but your face, your, your face is, your
You're
face is
still moving.
frozen.
Apparently, I'm still moving too.
No, you're on my screen. Your face is frozen in a cheesy grin.
Hmm.
You're in a cheesy grin.
Hmm.
Oh, dear me. Simple things, Nathan. I've got an observational sense of humour.
That's good. That's a good thing.
I love Michael McIntyre. He's observational comedy. Yeah, so that's the thing actually. Men feeling emasculated. Um, I would love to meet some of the tall women on this app actually and have a conversation about that.
What they think about them being tall. I mean,
Yeah,
I think sometimes it can put guys off if they're not the same height, just because women like to date men at their height, right? So,
well, I don't really have much choice because I'm 6'1", so I've only ever met two men taller than me in my life. So
right,
to
yeah,
date, so um, so I don't have really had much choice. I mean, it's not that I've only ever seen two men taller than me in my life, but I've only ever had a connection with two men taller in my life, or been asked out by two men taller than me
yeah.
in my life.
I mean, I've never
So,
really met very much tall men anyway. Average height, yeah. I mean, what am I? Am I 5'6"? I think I'm five
and
six.
I need to move to Denmark where all the men are tall.
Is that true or is it a myth?
Yeah, Danish people are all pretty tall. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's why the
okay.
KLM airline is always got massive amounts of leg room.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Um, but yeah, it's a common situation of being told you're too tall. But
You're
there
too
we
tall.
are.
Well,
Anyway, I shall let you get off to your wife anyway on the subject of relationships.
that's funny. No, I was literally about to say the same things. I looked at the time and I was like, oh no, you got work tomorrow, like you said, and I think we've gone over. You're gone over by 10 minutes, so
Oh, well,
apologies on that.
that's all right. Don't worry. It's I'm sure I can cope with 10 minutes.
But definitely though, we need to do this again at some point. I'm gonna Instagram you my email. If you can send me this audio, that would be great.
I will
If you could
do.
send me
No
that.
problem. No problem. I
Yeah.
don't know why it wouldn't let me add you as a
Or admin.
um
Sometimes it does that
admin.
again. Yeah, again,
Yeah.
stereo has some weird stuff going on. Um,
Mm. But yes, I will definitely send you this audio if you send us an email on Instagram, and we can do this again. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've literally
And
just
it was
sent it to you now. So yeah, we can
okay.
definitely do that again.
I will do,
Tech
and
defense.
it was great to meet Andy in a few new characters that I haven't come across before. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and lovely to chat to you. So enjoy the
Yeah,
rest of
so
your evening and sleep well when you go to bed.
yeah, you too. Nice chatting to you. And if Andy's in the chat, no, he's not. Yeah, but yeah, I'll speak to you guys at another time, I guess.
And good night to you as well, Ira Soul. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will speak to you soon, no doubt as
Yeah.
well.
All right,
Okay,
and
good night, everyone.
good
Good
night.
night.
See ya.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.